Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Axis Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on this Thursday night? What's happening? What's cracking? I'm seeing all kinds of party people already in the chat, in there partying, yapping, going back and forth, the whole 9 yards. Well, this is the party, so glad to see everybody here. Welcome to episode 26 of season 16 for Axis Live. I'm your host, Dave Axis, and we have a very esteemed panel here this evening. Three members of my normal panel plus mystery guest number 4. Oh, X Max Jet Plane. What's my name? I don't know. I'm going to go with Jeff Banfield. What do you think? Boom shakalaka. How you like them apples? Do you like apples? Yes, Greg, esteemed. I used. Are you upset? I didn't use it. I don't use that term when you're on. Yes, Hugo. I'm going topless today. What's up, party people? Gotta make them dollar bills, y'all. Going topless on the show. No hat tonight. Sorry about that. I don't know, Ray Ray. I don't hear an echo and repeating. Do you hear an echo and repeating? Because I don't hear one. Does anybody else hear an echo, or is it just Ray Ray? Ray Ray, do you have me on twice somewhere? I don't see. Ray Ray loves me so much she listens to me twice. Just like my wife, just like my lovely wife, Pink Lisa, listens to me twice all the time. Moving on, let me get out of that one real quick. Tonight we've got our quarterfinal previews for the season 16 playoffs. We've got our SFL Minor League Week 2 previews. Of course, the wisest man in the SFL is here with his pearls of wisdom. Gunny is always in the house. And then Bo Martin Jr. Look at that. Oh, Ray Ray's a secret guest. Oh, did that give it away that she's echoing? Uh-oh. That could be something. We have our wild card week Diva of the Week winner. We're going to do quarterfinal pick'em and SFL Minor League pick'em tonight. There will be no After Dark, though, because the second this show is over, I got to hit the road. So the show will literally be on the road. And so I'm hoping maybe we'll, 10, 15, maybe we'll see what happens. You're welcome. You're welcome, Doyle. You love seeing my dome. Also, yeah, so there'll be no After Dark. Just wanted to let you guys know real quick before I go to the party people. 2 quick things that I do want to talk about next week. I would have talked about them tonight if I had time, but I don't. We'll have to talk about them maybe on Tuesday. Is the 2 things that came out in the SFL today. One is the automated system, which I briefly looked over that. That looks freaking awesome. It looks amazing. It looks like it's going to make some people's jobs a lot easier in this league. And then the second thing is the price hike for quarterbacks and running backs, which, to be honest with you, I agree with. I like the tier pricing just because some people get more action, see more time on the field, etc., than others do. So I like that. I like both of these things. So I do want to get your feedback on Tuesday, though. We'll do an After Dark to talk about those things. So in the meantime, let's go check out my favorite part of the show. Let's go see my party people. There you go. There you go. There's party people. Let me see. Who was the first one in tonight? First one in the house? That's what she said. Corey Mizzou is here. Justin Reside. J37 is here. Doug Britton. Doug Great Britain is in the house. Bullet Boletsky. Joey Schwint is here with us. Nate Hall. Of course, the lovely, wonderful, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa. Achilles, what's up, bro? Go Dodgers. Dave Iceberg is in the house. Welcome. Jeff Gagne. Ray Ray. X-Max Jet Plane. Who could that be, Jeff Banfield? Who else is here? BJ Loveless. Hey, what's up, bro? I don't think we've seen you in a minute. And look at Twin Screw. You're like a regular guest now. You should maybe you should become a panelist or something. Let me see. Freddie's here. Good to see you, buddy. Hubba Breezy's here. The Cuban Missile, of course. Eagle Mondavi. Juice the Gamer's with us. Donkey 3230. Bo Martin. Should I say Bo Morpheus Jr.? You know, Bo, we'll see what happens with Nate tonight. Is he going to go into the Matrix if you're not a panelist? Very interesting to find out. We'll find out. Axel Raven is back. Thank you for your help last week, bro. Really appreciated that. Dwayne is here. Crazy 8 2000. Frank the Franchise Wade is in the house. Bob Funk, of course. Charles, the man, my boss over there in Lone Star. Ron Cochran's here. Good to see you, Ron. Hugo, of course. Man, we got a lot of peeps in here. It's almost like we should be talking about playoffs or something. I don't know. Let me see. Who am I missing? If I miss you, I apologize. There's so many names in here tonight. I'm trying to get them all. I'm trying to get them all. Mighty Joe Young, just saw that. And Jacob Clear. Jacob Clear, did you change your name? I don't remember that being your name before. Bald Dave Hours. What's that all about, Doyle? Let me see. All right. Robert Garrett Jr.'s here. That's probably a good thing. And the long arm of the law sneaking in. Looks like Cam Curtis is here. And that looks like it might be about it. I already said Eagle. That's it. That's everybody. Wow, that's a lot of peeps. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the party people for being in here. Appreciate you. Don't forget about my shout out. I said the long arm of the law, didn't I? I thought I said that. Yes, Dave Iceberg. We definitely have a full house, baby. Speaking of Dave Iceberg, first of all, that's an amazing name. Second of all, where's David Leathers tonight? The guy with the best first name in the entire SFL. All right, I guess we'll talk about that later. In the meantime, let's meet our panelists in the unscripted circle, who has now become no stranger to this show. And tonight, he is in the leadoff spot. He's going to be kicking things off for us when we get to our previews. He is the strong safety from Vancouver, the one, the only Nate Hall. Nate, what's up, bro? How you doing? Are you in the Matrix yet?
I am not in the Matrix, but it's only a matter of time, I think, before I go down the rabbit hole somehow. So it'll be interesting to see how far into the show.
Bo Martin Jr. is in the chat, so that could still be the problem, right? I mean, if he's anywhere within a certain radius of this show, I think that's what happens to you. I don't know what I don't know what color pill you took when he offered you, but he like controls you now, bro.
And since I'm batting leadoff, does that mean I'm the strongest hitter, setting the rest of the tone for the rest of the group?
Usually the fourth batter, the cleanup hitter, is the strongest hitter, which everybody will see momentarily that the mystery guest tonight is by far the strongest hitter. What does that mean, everybody? Let's see. Bo Static. That's a good one in there, Hugo. All right, let's go to the unfiltered circle tonight. In the unfiltered circle, another person who is not a stranger to this show. He was gone for a while, but he's kind of back in the routine. This is his second show, and I think this in the last couple of weeks. So it's glad to have him back. He is the linebacker and assistant GM of London, as well as the assistant coach and social media director for Lexington in the SFLm, Jeff Gagne. Jeff, hopefully I got all those titles. You have so many titles, I can't keep up with them.
It just continues to grow. The biggest one is that I get Chad a lot of coffee, so that's basically all those mean.
Are you still doing that? I thought that was a rookie gig.
I thought so too. That's what you sign on for, but here he is still getting me the coffee, so
well, at least he renewed that contract for you.
Yeah, I got to read that fine print better.
Yeah, you better. All right, well, we'll see. If you guys draft some rookies this season, you better pass the buck on that bad boy.
I'm going to work on it.
Attaboy. All right, in the unedited circle tonight is one of the sexiest tight ends. We have several on this show. It's like a tight end show half the time. And you know how I feel about tight ends. Hey-yo, da-dun-ch. I think that everybody knows this tight end. Everybody knows how sexy he is. And everybody loves his backwards hat. The VP of everything that is the Fort Worth Toros, Robert Garrett Jr. What's up, bro?
Do you have a coffee fetcher too, Dave? I didn't know this was a thing front office people had.
Yeah, I actually have 3 of them.
Oh, I need to get on the line with my agent.
I was like, dude, you've got like the highest ranking position out of everybody. I don't know how you don't have somebody fetching your coffee. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know. I was fetching somebody else's coffee earlier. I might have to get on Hacker.
Well, I mean, Hacker and Nacho, they're like that anyway. I mean, we'll talk. Well, we could have a whole show dedicated to those two, but we'll do that later. We'll do that another time. All right. So before I get to the unforgettable circle, I would like to see if there's any guesses in the chat of who is our mystery panelist number 4. Somebody says they thought it was going to be Optimus with that lead. Oh, they thought that was going to be Optimus. The Beard Force is definitely strong. Somebody thinks it's Rastelli. Somebody earlier said it was Ray Ray. Somebody's saying Johnny Pickler in there. Someone's saying AJ. Oh, somebody says Dwayne. That's a good one too. Look at all these guesses. All right, I'll give you the first hint. Future Hall of Famer. Oh, snap. What's up? I mean, like a for sure future Hall of Famer. Ray, Cam Curtis, Stover. Oh, yeah, that's good. Wally Herman, boom. Slyn Shady. Dude, there's a lot of good guesses in there. Jeff Banfield. Oh, I can't believe X Max Jet Plane is saying Jeff Banfield. DR Sim. King Brown, Pink Lisa. Oh, she's already a Hall of Famer, bro. She's already Max Jackson. All right, I am going to give you another hint, and then I'm going to let it go. He not only is he a future Hall of Famer, but he's also league personnel. What? How many future Hall of Famers are in league personnel? Look at, they're like, who? What? Well, I'll tell you what. Everybody knows how much I love this guy. I won a championship with him in season 14 as he was the GM and the quarterback of my beloved Atlanta franchise at the time. He's a future Hall of Famer, season 14 champion, and the DPP for the SFL. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Marcus Dunhill. Marcus, what's up? Welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. It's been a minute.
Hey, I know you've only been on the show one time, and that was way back when I first started, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can make it more of a regular thing.
I agree with that. Let me ask you one quick question before we get started. Are you missing playing? Are you enjoying being front office? What's the deal for that?
It's amazing being in the league office, but yeah, I definitely am starting to miss playing and watching myself on the field and getting to be a part of a on-field team.
Well, hey, just FYI, you're seeing there's a lot of quarterback positions opening up. Just saying, so there's always that possibility. Marcus, welcome to the show, bro. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
You got it. All right, let's talk some football. First thing that we're going to talk about before we get into the panelists is the bracket. Let's look at the bracket real quick, if I can find the right button to push. I don't know. I think Lisa always says I push buttons, but I don't think I do a very good job at it, actually. The panel of access already did that. Look at me. I'm trying to get out of here quick, and I'm dragging everything out. Unbelievable. There's the bracket. So we're down to the Elite Eight. Denver, Arizona, Fort Worth, Vancouver, Lone Star, Baltimore, and Las Vegas, Florida. We're going to come back to these next two slides that I'll show you real quick when we do pick'ems later. But here we are, quarterfinals. Lone Star, Baltimore, kickoff first on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. The game of the weekend that I think it's the game of the weekend. Number 5 Fort Worth at number 4 Vancouver. That's offense versus defense all the way. That's going to be amazing. That's on Saturday. And then the two games on Sunday. Number 10 Vegas. Interesting, we got a 10 and 11 playing the 1 and 2. That's crazy. Number 10 Vegas at number 2 Florida, 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. Number 11 Arizona at number 1 Denver, 2:45 p.m. on Sunday. We'll get back to those graphics when we do pick'ems. But in the meantime, Nate, let's get this party started, bro. First of all, obviously this was my favorite game of Wild Card Weekend. Look, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Lone Star game was my favorite. This is also going to be my favorite game this weekend. Here's the problem, though, right? We played Baltimore a few weeks ago, and they beat us. They were beating us once, had the power outage. They beat us a second time. They are the defending champs. Does Lone Star have a chance to go into Baltimore and steal a victory?
Oh, of course they have a chance. I mean, Ike McBride can prove that she can carry the team on her own back when needed. So it's just a matter of how much production is Ike McBride going to need in order for Lone Star to get the victory against Baltimore. And also how much success is Ace Finnick going to have against that stingy Baltimore defense. We all know how Giovanni Bolt kind of patrols that backfield over there in Baltimore. It'll be interesting to see how stingy they are and how many turnovers they can force for that defense. As far as offensively for Baltimore, it's going to be a question of kind of the same question for them. How much production can T. Roy Gaines get for Baltimore in their running game, and is Jack Wigmore going to be able to get him involved both in the running and passing, and also find his favorite receivers out there, or is he going to be made uncomfortable in the backfield by some of your defenders, Brian Craven among others, patrolling that backfield and making Jack Wigmore uncomfortable? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a close game. I can see it coming down to the wire. We'll get to pick'ems later, but it's definitely going to be a really exciting game, to say the least.
Yeah, the key, I think, so last time when we played him. I think Ace threw 5 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. I think Ike averaged 1 yard per carry. It was just a terrible game for us. But here's the what I think, Nate, is a good thing for Lone Star, right? Excuse me. We played a terrible game. We only lost by 8 points. So I'm hoping if we play a good game, maybe that'll help us, push us over the hump. Looks like Lone Star's won 5 of their last 6 games. Ace is tied for first with 25 touchdowns. Of course, he's throwing to a secondary that has Troy Loshaw, who has 12 interceptions, second in the league, and Alvin Mack we got to watch out for. I can see this being either a defensive struggle or an offensive struggle. Which one do you think it's going to be, Nate?
Oh, I can see it being a defensive struggle. I can see turnovers being made in this game by both teams. It's just a matter of who can force the most turnovers on which defense. I think the one who forces the most turnovers on their opponent is going to be the one that comes out with the victory.
Well, Baltimore definitely has the edge in that. I think they're plus, I want to say maybe 5 or 7, something like that. And I believe Lone Star is like -3 in the turnover department. So that doesn't fare well for us, but you never know. Again, in week 10, Baltimore beat us 24-16 by 8 points in Baltimore in a makeup game. Jack's data has Baltimore favored by 3.5 with an over-under of 45.5. But in the Who You Got, SFL Nation does not love Lone Star. They have Baltimore kicking our butt 101-46. No love for the Glory. As we move over to game 2, Jeff, on Saturday. There's only 2 games on Saturday, by the way, and 2 on Sunday. I think, Jeff, this is going to be the game of the weekend. You basically have the number 1 defense versus the number 1 offense. Tell us how you think this one's going to go down.
Yeah, no, Dave, you took the words right out of my mouth. So, game of the week here for me as well. I was glad to get this one to break down. I'm going to have to go through this like Vancouver's offense. There's a lot to unpack, so we're going to be quick with it. Vancouver coming out here, points per game, third down percentage, really near the top of the league. That offense can just keep moving. They're hard to get off the field. Where they're hung up, defense, middle of the pack. They do let up some points there and turnover differential. When you're a gunslinging offense, it's going to happen a little bit. You throw it over to Fort Worth, a little bit more balanced of a team. Their offense isn't lagging behind as much as this may seem when you go offense versus defense. They're about 7th or 8th in points per game, but that defense is just lights out. The turnover differential right up near the top of the league. This is really old school versus new school football here that you're going to see. You got Pepper, who leads the league in passing touchdowns, passing yards, and is probably a shoo-in for Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. Going against Cam Curtis, who's probably a little bit more reserved at quarterback, but still in that running for Rookie of the Year because he's really careful with that ball, does a really good job not throwing interceptions, and actually has the least in the league of any quarterback. So while he may not throw a ton of yards and a ton of touchdowns, it doesn't matter when you can turn around and hand it off to Williams, who's having himself a typical year. Started a little slow, definitely a top 5 back overall. Counterpart on the other side, Redford, top 5 back. The one that differentiates both of them right now is Redford doubles up Williams in receptions and is 4th in the league for running backs in receptions. So, yeah, it's a balanced, grinded out defensive team in Fort Worth versus Vancouver that wants to just put pedal to the metal. If that defense is never on the field, they're happy. They just want to keep throwing points. They're going to try to beat you by scoring more than you. That's their ultimate goal.
So here's my theory, Jeff, and tell me what you think. I think because of the way the AI goes sometimes, I can see one half being a defensive battle, one half being an offensive battle. So let's say Fort Worth wins one half, Vancouver wins one half, and it's going to be a close game down to the wire. What's going to give one team or the other the edge?
No, that's perfect. So I got my 2 X factors I'm looking at here, and both of them are receivers because I think that's where it comes down to because everything's so split that I don't think it's going to be a superstar that wins this game. Whichever team has somebody show up, and you weren't overly expecting it. Not that you would be underly expecting it, but over on Vancouver side, I think it's Kendra Hall. And you know they're going to key in over on the wide receiver 1, and they have to. But if Kendra Hall can get loose, we saw her do some damage in the playoffs last time around. So if she can make another effort here, I think she's the big one for Vancouver. If she gets loose and is really a problem, they're the ones that win this. On the other side, we have a homecoming. We got Cade Stevens coming back to Vancouver for his first game. And what a moment it would be for him to be the one to put his team over the top. I think it's going to be one of these lesser known targets that's going to make the difference in the game. I see this game as a pick 'em, and I think it's one of those ones where one team is just going to take away at the end, and I think they probably end up winning by like 2 scores, maybe by 10 points, but it's going to be one of those late end of the game runs that the team makes. Vancouver's got a great offense, Fort Worth a great defense. You can't ask for more at this point. This is the game that you want if you're the SFL.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be the most exciting game of the weekend. Are you part? Do I need to add Jack's data onto your resume, that long resume I listed when I introduced you earlier? Because they also have this game as a pick'em.
See, well, I took him to the bank in Swamp Talk's little run this year, winning that one too. So I think I'm just on the same wavelength with those guys.
Awesome. So they have this game as a pick'em, which I mean, I agree. Over under 54.5, and so far, Jeff, it's 20 points or 20 votes more for Fort Worth, 82-62 in the Who You Got. Moving on to Sunday's games, I'm a little surprised by that. I thought the Who You Got would be a little closer, to be honest with you.
I think it's the balance. It's a safer pick to take Fort Worth, and I would agree with that one. But if Vancouver gets going, this could get ugly for Fort Worth's defense.
Well, I mean, Vancouver's playing at home. They got the best offense. They're a higher seed. I don't know. I think I'm edging Vancouver on this one, but we'll see.
It can go so many different ways with the way
really
the simulations go. This is going to be a fun one.
It really can, and it absolutely will be. All right, moving on to Sunday's games. The first quarterfinal game on Sunday, the number 10 seed Las Vegas Fury, that we've talked about a lot on this show as one of the hottest teams in the SFL in the last, 5 or 6 weeks, going to Florida, who's been the hottest team probably overall, other than Denver, since about week 2. Robert Garrett Jr., this is a game that I see Vegas they've won 6 of their last 7 games, and the one game that they lost was a close game to Denver. So I think they can definitely hold with Florida. What do you think?
Yeah, no, this is definitely an interesting game. And actually, I was thinking about leading up to now how interesting Vegas's path through the playoffs, even if they move through to next week, is and has been when it comes up against defenses. You know, the first playoff round they play St. Louis, known as a very tough defense. Now they have to come into Florida, who has been red hot in their passing defense, is the second best passing defense in the league, 243 yards allowed, and only allowing 19 points per game as well. I mean, Florida, their passing defense has been outstanding all season. Multiple players with, 3-4 interceptions a piece and even higher. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they bring Colin Pierce into a tough Florida house, who is now well rested and had a couple weeks to go off of, and what they can do there. And obviously Scott Johnson, I think, is another key factor for Las Vegas's offense because he's just got power, and every time he carries the ball, you never know what's going to happen, when he's going to break through, when he's going to get to the second level, and it's always interesting to watch their running game unfold.
Couple interesting facts I found out today, Robert. We know the season stats for this, but so this season, Florida undefeated at home, 8-0, 83% win percentage all time at home. And look at Vegas, 2-3 versus Florida all time, only a 26% all time away percentage. Does that factor in to the game on this Sunday?
I definitely think it could, and you're diving into historical stuff. Another thing to look at is Vegas has won the last 2 games that these teams have played, the last one being last season in season 15. And before that, Florida had won 3 in a row against Las Vegas. So Vegas is trying now to even up the odds between the 2 teams and see if they can get that ever elusive road win.
Yeah, Ron Cochran, thank you, buddy. I was actually typing that as you put it in there, too. Apparently, I must have had NFL on the mind. Obviously, they're 6-0, not 8-0 at home. But Ron Cochran, thanks for catching that. Appreciate it, buddy. What's the key for Vegas, do you think? You think Blades needs to go off? Do you think Blades and Kirby? Run game, what do you think really is the key for Florida or for Vegas to be able to steal a victory in Florida?
I think it's going to be the run game with Scott Johnson. Their pass game is obviously deadly, and John Blades, Mason Kirby, you never know who's going to get the ball, but with the tough passing defense that Florida has, you got to work Scott Johnson in there and break up some of it so that they can't predict your next move.
I agree with you. Check this out. This is tied for the. So here's what's funny. The games on Saturday. The first one was a 3.5 spread. The second one was a pick'em. So they're expecting 2 close games. The games on Sunday, not so much. Jack's data has Florida favored by 7.5, so by more than a touchdown, with an over/under of 54.5, and 93-55. SFL Nation taking Florida in the who you got as we move on to the last quarterfinal game of the weekend on Sunday evening. Marcus, Arizona at Denver. Arizona's been playing out of their mind lately. Denver's playing out of their mind in the entire season. Does this seem similar to the game we just talked about with Vegas and Florida, or do you think Denver can pretty much handle their business?
I have a feeling that Denver is going to be able to handle their business. However, I do think Arizona has a shot. I just think it's incredibly tough uphill battle. The Denver Nightwings entered the playoffs at 11-1. The only loss this season comes week 6 to the Houston Hyenas. Denver is got the number 1 seed because they won the last 6 games in the row. The Scorpions, on the other hand, came into the game 6-6 in the regular season, punched a ticket to the wild card round where they were able to beat Mexico City Aztecs to move on to the quarterfinals. One of the big reasons they beat Mexico City last week was because Ashley Jackson didn't throw any interceptions, which is incredibly important when you want to win games and not allow opponents to get points on turnovers. The issue is that Denver allows the 3rd fewest points to be scored on them in the league. So the passing attack is probably not the best option. They've also allowed the 4th fewest passing touchdowns. So passing the ball is going to be incredibly difficult, which means to have a good shot to win the game, they have to have no interceptions and they need to be able to run the ball. Jared McChesney, on the other hand, for Denver, leads the league in rushing yards and actually has 338 more yards than the person in second place, who's the running back Ezekiel Love from Portland. And that's an insane margin just between first and second place. McChesney was second in the league in yards per carry and tied for second in rushing touchdowns. DJ Moses, on the other hand, was 11th and 12th in those categories, and a 3-way tie behind 7 other running backs for rushing touchdowns. Although Arizona has that benefit of that stronger passing game, I don't think they're going to move the ball too much on Denver. On defense is where Arizona really shines, though, because they have Mark Mello, who's tied for first in the league with 15 sacks, as well as D.D. Sacks, who's tied for second place with 14. Arizona's also allowed the lowest percentage of 3rd down conversions in the league. So I expect this game to be one on the ground for both teams, but it's been quite a task for Arizona to slow McChesney down. For Arizona to come out with a win, the defensive line has to bring the pressure, get some sacks, or force Miller to turn the ball over. They must also slow McChesney down, or it's going to be an incredibly long night. On offense, I think Ashley Jackson needs to throw a very conservative game and give Denver no extra chances to score. Denver's path to victory is how many yards McChesney can rack up. Whether Denver's defense can stop Ashley and company from getting to the end zone, who's to say? But I think it's going to be a really great game, no matter what side you think is going to win. I just think Arizona's got to play a flawless game, or it's going to be really, really tough to beat Denver. They just have been running the ball so efficiently this season that if they can't slow McChesney down, I just don't know how they're going to win.
I mean, I would love to see a running battle, right? DJ Moses versus McChesney. That would be amazing. But I think you're right. I think the key to Arizona staying competitive is AJ not throwing interceptions. Marcus, let me ask you this last question before we move on. A couple people in the chat for both the last game and this game are saying that these are potentially trap games. Do you see this as a trap game, or do you think Denver is kind of seasoned enough to, maybe not fall for that?
I don't see this as a trap game. I definitely understand where they came from with those other games, but you've seen the production they've gotten out of McChesney this season, and how well Josh Miller, has done, even though he hasn't had necessarily the greatest year. They're just such a really good all-around team that I don't expect them to give Arizona any room.
Okay. We will find out later in the show who the panel is picking to win all of these games. And we're about to, in a couple minutes, go ahead and preview the SFL Minor League Week 2 games. But before that happens, we need to get to my main man, Gunny. Gunny, what's up? You around?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Are you ready to rock and roll? Because I'm ready to go. I think Ray Ray's probably in the. Oh, look at that. Just as I say it, boom. There it is. All right, Gunny, you're ready to go whenever you're ready.
Good evening, SFL Nation, and to all the party people. This will be the last time Denver and Arizona played each other. Was in Week 4. Denver won 36-23 at Arizona. The other previous time they played was August 23rd of 2020. Also a Denver win, 34-24, and that season Denver was at home. Florida and Las Vegas, the last time they played was August 30th of 2020. Las Vegas won 37-27. The other game they played was February 1st, 2020. Also, Las Vegas won 27-20. Las Vegas was home to both of those games. Baltimore Lone Star, they've only played one time in their history. That was in Week 10 of this season. And the Baltimore Vultures won 24-16. The number 4 and 5, Vancouver against Fort Worth. This will be their first ever meeting. Some females to look forward to in the minor leagues to get drafted into the SFL. A running back, Brooke Bessel, Salt Lake City. Wide receiver, Kelsey Brown, Salt Lake City. Strong safety, Nana Leahy, Birmingham. Strong safety, Isabella Blackwell, Lexington. Kicker named Kat in Salt Lake City. Other minor leaguers that Gunny has his eyes on. Quarterback, Dave Bird. Quarterback, Trellis Blanton. That name rings a bell. I believe I saw him in season 14 when I joined. Running back, Trey Finnick. Wide receiver, Josh Stiles, a fellow Atlantan. Offensive lineman, Aiden Beaker. Fullback, Aaron Alexander. Linebacker, Bogey Barr. Linebacker, David Ware, and cornerbacks, all them, because that's Gunny's favorite position. Also, if you want to join the SFLm and you have yet to do so, there is only 2 defensive tackles at that position. Those are Chance Wall at Madison and Robert Cron at San Jose. With that, Dave, good luck to everyone in the Elite 8 and the second season and the second week of the SFLm. And everyone have a great weekend. That is all.
Awesome. That was perfect timing, Gunny. You should do it like that every time. That was money right there, baby. All right, Gunny. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's move on to Week 2 previews for the SFL Minor League. These are only going to get 2 minutes instead of the normal 3 by each panel. Not a lot of data to go on with a lot of these teams yet, but we'll see what we can do here. Nate, starting with you, Lexington, who had a great win in Week 1 against Albuquerque. 2 undefeated teams, 2 of the, I believe, 4 undefeated teams, obviously, after the first week. This is Friday at 7 p.m. How do you see this one going down?
It's going to be a battle, I think, between these 2 teams. It's very... we all know about how Lexington's defense shut down Birmingham last week, only allowing them to score to get 53 total yards of offense for Birmingham in their win, and Lexington's win over them last week. So I'm looking to see, is Lexington's defense really that good, or was Birmingham's offense really that bad? So I'm looking to see if Albuquerque can get anything going offensively. Quarterback Trellis Blanton for Albuquerque, he had 70% completion rate last week in their win. He'll need to have another strong performance. And one of his favorite receivers over there is Nate Ritters, which something about number 14. You got Nate Ritters in Albuquerque.
Yep.
You got Ken Dre over there in Vancouver. So it's going to be interesting to see how Albuquerque can do against this Lexington defense, and if they can score points against them, because we all know the struggles Birmingham had last week. Offensively for Lexington, Bailey O'Shaughnessy last week had a really strong game, over 100 yards. She's one of, I guess he's one of the top prospects I'm looking for this season. It'll be looking to see if he can get another strong performance out of him this week against that strong Albuquerque defense. And of course, it's only week 2, so a lot of these teams are still trying to get their feet wet in the new season, season 3. But just looking for a really strong game out of both of these teams.
Yeah, kudos to Chad Rowland and that crew over there, Lexington. I mean, coming out the gate, your very first game, 25-0. That's pretty impressive. I got Jack's data for the SFL minor leaguers as well, with an additional stat. So this is how we break down the minor league over at Jack's data. They have Albuquerque favored by 2.5, with a 64% chance to win the game. The over-under on this game is 37.5, and the last I looked, Albuquerque only had a 4-point lead, 79-75. In the who you got. That could be all tied up by the time. I mean, I looked at it a couple hours ago, so it could have changed by then. But I think people are expecting a close game between two undefeated teams in the SFL minor league. Moving on to game 2, also on Friday at 7:20 p.m. Jeff, the Grizzlies, right? So quite the opposite of last game, right? Last game, 2 undefeated teams. This game, 2 teams that both need a victory. How do you see this Tacoma-Birmingham game going down?
Yeah, so coming out the gate, I got to answer Nate's question here. Birmingham, runner-up last year for the championship. This team is still no joke. Having to be part of scouting for them and working through that, it was no easy task. What our team did over there was definitely a product of a lot of hard work, because Birmingham, they got a staff. And I don't think this one game is going to hold them back. They got a lot of player turnover because that team was so good. And they have a lot more of the lower-rated rookies coming in, so they got to do some more teaching early on. That said, we are looking at a possible grinded-out game here. It wasn't pretty for either of these teams in Week 1. Both are coming off tough showings. Week 1, Birmingham scored nothing, and allowed 25 points. Tacoma scored 3 points and allowed 41 points. Work to be done. I think it all starts with the turnovers. Both quarterbacks are coming off 3 interception games. Clearly for Birmingham, if they cut that down, a 0-25 is probably a lot closer, and they're probably in that game. For Tacoma, even with 3 interceptions removed, it's probably a little bit tougher for them. I really want to see Tacoma get Brad Jones going. He had some rushing yards. I believe he was one of 3 to go over 100 for the Miners last week. I'd like to see them get him going, protect the quarterback a little bit more. And for Birmingham, it's just going to be finding some rhythm on offense. They have Squarebush coming back. Hardaway is a pretty solid quarterback, but he's got some room to progress, obviously, as a young one. But I think they just need to figure out what they got and how to mold to that, rather than just trying to play with the championship set, because they had so many good players last year. So it's an adjustment. In the minors, every year you lose some, you gain some. You don't know who's progressing and all that. So both teams started off tough, but they have a chance to catch up to the rest of the league. And I think Birmingham raised the ship quicker here. Tacoma's got a younger coaching staff as well. I think Birmingham can lean on their veteran coaching staff to fix it, but we'll see how it goes. I have faith in Birmingham rebounding pretty quickly in this one.
Well, I don't think Jack's data has a lot of faith in there being a lot of points scored in this game, because this has the lowest over-under at only 31.5 combined, which could even be a little high based on their performances last week. Birmingham is favored by 6 with a 65% chance to win the game. That's 1% chance better than Albuquerque was in the last matchup. But in the who you got, Birmingham is getting a lot of love, 89 to only 51 in the who you got. SFL Nation taking Birmingham over Tacoma. Moving on to game 3, Robert Garrett Jr. This game, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, I did already pull it up. Also Friday, because all the games are on Friday, 9 p.m. Ottawa, who didn't play last week, so they kind of had a little advantage, a little extra rest, being able to scout teams, early without being scouted. Does that give them much of an advantage going into Salt Lake City?
I think it gives them a little bit of an advantage just because they have a little bit of extra time to work on their playbook. I mean, I'm sure they mostly had it ironed out already, but Javier and Tom and Hammer were all coming from coaching in the SFL, so maybe now that they have a little more time, they could really dive into it. And I think this is an interesting one for them to start their season on. I mean, Salt Lake City last week had 220 yards less than the team they were playing in Madison, and still only lost by 3 points. Madison's playing some interesting football, or not Madison, Salt Lake City. And they have something there. They just got to work it out a little bit. Tommy Utah threw 34 times last week and only completed 19 of them. They've got to get the passing game down a little bit more, get the running game worked in. Brooke Beasel, I apologize if I got that wrong, but only had 8 yards on 9 carries. I mean, their offense isn't clicking yet. And, sometimes that just comes with time. Obviously, there's, the week 1 complications as well, but something just wasn't there. And maybe that now they have a chance to reset. They're playing another team who they can't really scout or get a feel for. And Salt Lake City does have a big challenge in front of them, but I don't think it's one that they can't overcome.
Well, I mean, Salt Lake City put 27 points on, a team that was the champion 2 seasons ago, right? So
yeah,
we know they can score, and they're playing at home instead of being on the road last week. So, I mean, I agree. I think Ottawa probably has a slight advantage, but I think Salt Lake City can hold their own. Let's see what Jack's data. Jack's data says Salt Lake City favored by 3.5. So I think they're leaning Salt Lake City, but they only have a 58% chance of winning, which, Robert, is the lowest percentage of all 4 games. They're expecting an over-under of 38.5, but there's a lot of love for Salt Lake City in the Who You Got. SFL Nation taking Salt Lake City 115 to only 30. That is crazy for a minor league game. I'm going to work on getting Nate Hall back in here in just a moment. But in the meantime, Marcus, let's talk about the last game, Friday night at 9:20. San Jose Flight, my favorite team in the SFL minor league, against Memphis, which might be my favorite logo. So I'm not sure which way to go on this. What do you think about this game?
So San Jose Flight is 0-1 coming into Memphis to take on the River Runners. The River Runners ended up winning their first game. San Jose lost by 7 last week. Memphis, however, beat the Grizzlies 41-3. With only 1 game under their belt, OJ Bruin leads the minor league in passing yards with 357. As well, he is the only quarterback to score 3 touchdowns in their first outing so far. Their running back, GP Wells, leads the minor league in rushing yards. The Memphis offense performed lights out last week and became the talk of the town. That means the number 1 priority for San Jose is setting up the no-fly zone. Luckily, San Jose came up with 3 interceptions in their week 1 match. The keys to the game for San Jose is simple. Set up their no-fly zone and force Memphis to turn the ball over. And they also need to turn those interceptions into points. If they can limit the attack, they'll force Memphis to have to get it done on the ground. Then you can control the ground and don't let GP Wells loose. If they can slow down the rushing and passing attack from Memphis, they stand a good shot to win the game. Memphis, on the other hand, just needs to come out guns blazing. They showed last week that they have the quarterback that can put up big numbers and rack up lots of points. If they want to win, all they got to do is do it again. While they can win the game on the ground, a superior passing attack will allow them to score points in a much quicker fashion. As long as you can minimize the turnovers, you are incredibly hard to stop. So it'll be a tough task for San Jose. If any indication of what Memphis did last week, the Flight have a big fight on their hands. Regardless, anything can happen in the SFL. You never know what happens tomorrow, hopefully we get some good football, maybe some tacos. But I think San Jose has a chance. But if it's any indication what Memphis showed last week, they're a powerhouse. But as everyone knows, the stats from one game won't tell you how the rest of the season's going to go.
That is true. And San Jose, they had a rough first season. Last season, they were in a bunch of games. They won a couple, I believe, but they were in a bunch of games. I thought this might be the season to get over the hump. And Marcus, I think this would be a good game to show everybody what the Flight are made of going into Memphis and playing a really tough team.
Absolutely. They have a chance to make a statement at the beginning of the season, try to shut down Memphis, and if they can do it, their name will be what everybody's talking about for the next week.
I completely agree. All right, so Jack's data has this game. This is the biggest spread, though, Marcus. Memphis by 10.5, with a 71% chance to win the game, which is also the largest, and the largest over-under at 41.5. However, and maybe I might have these backwards. I don't know. Maybe I might want to check. San Jose 83 to 59. That can't be right. Maybe I think I might have messed these up because I have a hard time believing that San Jose is up 83 to 59 in the who you got. I'm going to check it right now, actually, while we're talking. Make sure I didn't mess this up. Oh no, you know what it was? I had it backwards with the Ottawa Salt Lake game. So right now, Ottawa 86 to 59 over Salt Lake City. Memphis 116 to 31 over San Jose. So I had those flip-flopped. I knew that something was a little fishy there. Apparently, I got 1 foot out the door already trying to get on the road. Let's talk about some Diva of the Week. Now, we had our 6 nominees from Tuesday, and it was actually a very close race. I don't know exactly how close because Eagle doesn't tell me until we're all done what the percentages were. He just tells me the night of who the winner was, but he says it was very close. So we had 6 nominees. I don't remember all of them, but what I do remember is that I'm pretty sure that this is a very first on the show. I don't think this has ever happened before because your Diva of the Week in Wild Card Weekend, and they weren't even in a wild card game for season 16, is the Lexington Miners, who is nominated. They were nominated by Tyler Falk on Tuesday night for the first win in franchise history, and the defensive coordinator Tom Tanner making his debut by shutting out Birmingham, who were the season 2 SFLm runners-up, and they also had a solid offensive performance. I now have I don't even know what you are, Chad. Are you the owner? Are you the head coach? What are you over there?
I'm the head coach, man.
Head coach? Okay, well, I don't
they
know.
They don't have owners in the SFLm, so
okay.
No.
But you're basically the head man in charge, is what you're saying.
I am the head charge hand. That is correct.
All right. Well, first of all, welcome to the show. Second of all, congrats on your team. First game ever, and shut out an opponent, and they just didn't shut them out. They put 25 on them. How did you go about game planning for a team that you've never played against before?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. Being able to be on a show with Marcus is kind of an honor. It's good to see you, Marcus. Good to see everybody else on the panel as well. For us, it really all comes down to all the work that we had done behind the scenes. One of your panelists is my assistant head coach, which is Jeff Gagne,
Jeff, right?
the myth, the legend, of course. But the offensive coordinator, which is Mac Chima, the wide receiver from Baltimore, and the defensive coordinator, which is Tom Tanner, part of the St. Louis organization. These guys put in a lot of work. And they're the ones that probably deserve the Diva of the Week, to be quite honest. I just kind of looked over it and made sure it was right and sent it in, gave them a little advice here and there, but them coaches are the ones that put in all the work. The players are the ones that went out on the field and did what they had to do, going up against the runners-up of the SFLm championship last season. This week we got the champions, the past champions in Albuquerque. So it's fun so far for us.
It sounds like it's a lot of fun, and you're right. It's a team win all the way around, right? It's you, it's the coaching staff, it's the players, it's everybody. It's a team win for the Diva of the Week win. Wild card week. Well, I guess this is pretty wild. I guess that makes sense, right? Because we've never had a minor league team win this before. So kudos to you, Chad. Kudos to your staff and your team. And congrats. Hopefully you can stick around here for the next few minutes and do some pick'ems with us. You down for that?
Of course, you know that.
All right, that's my boy. All right, so let's do pick'ems. Let's start with SFL. I'm gonna pull those those other graphics up that I had on earlier. The show graphics from Cam, which I appreciate sending them to me, by the way. We've got that's the wrong one. There we go. So Nate Hall, first game, quarterfinals, out the box, Lone Star at Baltimore. Who you got?
I'm gonna go I'm not Lone Star. I'm gonna go Lone Star, but I think the reason is gonna be Ike McBride is gonna have a big game and gonna slow down Baltimore's offense.
Chad's sober tonight. That's always good, Chad, when you're sober. Does Tyler Falk count those as a season 16 win for himself? Hey yo. All right, Jeff, Lone Star at Baltimore quarterfinals. Who you got?
Shockingly for you, Dave, I got Lone Star. I think one road team has to win this weekend, and I think this is the most likely road team to pull that off.
What?
So I'm taking Lone Star.
I am shocked, Jeff.
I know.
All right, well, let's see if Robert Garrett Jr. shocks me as well.
No, I'm going to break your heart.
Again,
Baltimore.
As you always do every show. You're taking Baltimore, got it. All right, Marcus, Lone Star of Baltimore. The defending champs against a team that just doesn't seem to want to lose 3 of the last 4 weeks in winning super close games.
I'm just going to have to take Baltimore in this one. They're the defending champs for a reason. I've played against Baltimore and never beat them once in my career. I just have seen that team is on an entirely next level in comparison to a lot of teams in the league, and I just can't put my money on anybody but Baltimore.
Okay. Chad, your former team with our friendship on the line. Who you got?
Man, I gotta tell you, I mean, to me, I gotta go with Marcus on this one. I mean, I love Lone Star. I love them guys. I mean, to me, this is a pick 'em, to be quite honest. I really do. I think it's a pick 'em. You guys have been playing very good so far, like these past few weeks. I mean, Baltimore obviously having that week off. Does that affect them? Maybe, maybe not. Jack Wigmore threw quite a bit of picks in his last game, so it's a pick 'em for me.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. They're the defending champs. There's a reason why they are the defending champs. So
Sure.
I understand that. Gunny, I know you got some love for Lone Star, but tell me why.
I'm picking all the lower seeds this weekend. Go Glory.
There you go. That works for us. All right, game 2, Nate. Again, I think game of the week, the toughest game to pick. It was so hard that Hunter Norwood and Jack Wall over at Jack's Data couldn't even pick it. So what do you think? Fort Worth at Vancouver?
Vancouver, and I think our high-powered offense is going to make Fort Worth's defense look silly out there on the field. So we'll see if it can just come to fruition.
Ooh, look at Robert Garrett Jr.'s face right now. Woo! Bulletin board material, Robert. Jeff Gagne, Fort Worth at Vancouver. Who you got?
Fully agree. It's a pick 'em due to that going home team. I see Fort Worth bouncing back next year, and early pick next year for me is Fort Worth to be the top team with just a little bit more progression on some young guys. They're a young team.
Wow, Robert, you're getting no love on this panel. I know you're going to give your own team some love, so tell me why.
Cam Curtis for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, least amount of interceptions, right?
Efficiency, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Leach as well. Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. Only defensive rookie to have some kind of stat in every category.
Wow. Okay. Marcus, who you got? Fort Worth versus Vancouver, the toughest pick of the week.
I have Fort Worth in this game. I think Vancouver is a really good team, but I also know the struggle that really good defenses can pose. You never quite know what game you're going to get out of Tom Pepper, whether he's going to throw a really efficient game or 7 interceptions. So I just think Fort Worth and their defense are going to be able to win this one.
Gotcha. Chad, how do you see this one going down, bro?
I would almost say this is a pick 'em too, but I can't do 2 pick 'ems. I mean, I hope that this is going to sound funny saying this, and I know that
there's no pick 'ems in the playoffs anyway, bro.
See, I picked the last one. But anyway, I mean, I know this guy's going to take this as a jab to him, and it's really not. But hopefully Andy studied how we picked off Cameron Curtis 5 times. You know, we gave him like, a quarter of his interceptions in one game when they played London. But to me, I mean, Cam Curtis is I think a shoe-in for Offensive Rookie of the Year. If Pepper can throw less than 2 picks, I'm going Vancouver.
Okay. Gunny, where do you stand on this South Division rival and our main rival against the high-powered offense of Vancouver?
Well, if memory serves me correctly, if it wasn't for the Lone Star victory in Week 12 over Fort Worth would have been a 3rd or maybe 4th seed for this. Plus, Robert Garrett Jr. is on my fantasy football team, so I'm going with Fort Worth.
Bo Martin Jr., real quick. Gunny, I got you down Fort Worth. No, Chad picked Baltimore, bro. He didn't do a pick 'em. He said it should be a pick 'em, but he went with Baltimore because he agreed with Marcus. Nate, let's go over to Sunday's games, if I can find them real quick. Boom, there you go. So we're expecting close games on Saturday. Let's see if we expect close games on Sunday. The seedings are further apart. I don't know necessarily the talent is, that far apart, but definitely, big gap in seeds, right, Nate? So Vegas on the road at Florida on Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Who you got?
I'm going to go trap game on this one and pick Las Vegas. They're just too hot on a streak right now. And I can see the offense for Las Vegas posing a big threat to Florida's defense and Las Vegas coming out on top.
Okay, there you go. Jeff Gagne, you agree with Nate or you got your own take?
I got Florida in this one. But if the Fury do win, I picked them to win everything because they've obviously hacked the game. They know all the secrets, and they're going all the way through this thing because they're going to be on an incredible run.
All right, well, there's that, I guess. Robert Garrett Jr., Vegas at Florida. Who you got?
Riverboat Ron's going to sling the ball like he knows how to, and Florida's going to pull this home game out.
Okay. Marcus, what about you, bro?
I'm going to take Las Vegas in this game. I think Florida is a great team, but I don't think they're quite the powerhouse that they used to be when they won 3 championships. And if you saw Las Vegas last week, they were really efficiently rolling. And if they can be as efficient as they were last week, they're going to win this game.
Okay. Chad, what about you, bro? Where are you at on this Vegas-Florida game?
People are going to think I'm crazy and they think I might be drunk Chad this week, but I got Charlie Boletsky getting 3 TDs in this game and winning it.
Whoa.
Book it.
Well, he has been, dude, he's been amazing this season as well. All right, Gunny, Vegas at Florida. Who you got?
I'm staying true to form. I'm going with all the underdogs.
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas it is. All right, the last quarterfinal game of the weekend, 2:45 on Sunday. Another big gap in the seeding, Nate. Arizona at Denver, who's pretty much been the number 1 team all season long.
Yeah, and I understand that and everything, but if you watched Netmo last night, there was a thing on where we're going to get Disney to sponsor AJ versus Kendra matchup in the semifinals. So I'm going to pick the upset and go Arizona.
That's a good reason. I mean, that's science, right? That's football science right there, Nate. Atta boy. Jeff, you going science or another way?
I'm going Denver once beat my team 1.2 billion to like 3, and I can never pick against them until we have our chance to rematch that. So Denver.
All right, there you go. Robert, where you at on this Arizona-Denver game?
Eddie's going to hate me, but I'm taking Denver.
Just for the obvious reasons?
I mean, they're the number 1 team in the league and just keep rolling. There's no stopping them until somebody can figure it out.
Well, who was it that figured it out this season? Was it Baltimore?
Unfortunately, it was Houston.
Oh, it was Houston. That's right. Baltimore was last season, I think. Marcus, does Arizona have a chance against Denver?
I don't think so. I'm going to take Denver in this one. The main reason for that is Arizona's run defense is middle of the league, and they're going up against the number 1 running back in the league. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do enough to stop him. On top of that, Ashley can play good games, but if they force her to throw too much, she might start throwing picks. And if she throws any, then Arizona's going to be done because they have to play a near perfect game.
Okay, Nate, if you can still hear us, don't worry about the Matrix thing right now. I'd rather we're more concerned with your voice right now. Get through these pick'ems. Chad, Arizona at Denver. Who you got?
Yeah, I can't go for Eddie. I'm sorry, Eddie. I got love for you, but I got to go Denver.
Okay. And Gunny, what about you? You going underdog again here?
Yes, sir. Underdog again.
Okay. Is it just solely because they're an underdog, Gunny? Is that why you're picking the underdogs, or because we were an underdog? What's the rationale behind that?
Oh no, of course I want the South Division to win. The rest are mostly underdogs, and it'd be cool to see a big upset.
Gotcha.
And then I can say, "I told you so."
Attaboy, Gunny. All right, let's go into SFL minor league games week 2. Lexington and Albuquerque. Nate.
I'm going to go Albuquerque on this one.
Albuquerque. Jeff.
Lexington.
Lexington. Robert.
Got to support my Toros teammate. Go Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Chad, or I'm sorry, Marcus.
I'll take Albuquerque as well.
Albuquerque as well. Chad, I know you're going Lexington, but tell me why you think you're going to beat Albuquerque.
Because I got faith in my coordinators, man. Really, that's all it's about. So much disrespect in here. Just so much disrespect. We are going to muck the rock out of the Adams tomorrow night.
All right, attaboy. Gunny, where are you at with this Lexington Albuquerque game?
I'm going with the bluegrass state of the Lexington Wildcats.
Okay, awesome. Game 2 in the SFL minor league this weekend. Tacoma at Birmingham. Nate.
Birmingham, they come back off their offensive woes from last week and they get their first win.
Okay, Jeff.
Yep, Birmingham with a statement.
With a statement. Robert Garrett Jr.
Yeah, I got Birmingham bouncing back.
Okay. Marcus, what about you? Everybody seems like Birmingham, they think Birmingham's going to bounce back. Are you on that Birmingham train?
Yep, I'm going to take Birmingham as well.
Birmingham lost 25-0, you guys. I mean, I guess Tacoma they lost 40.
They lost 41-3.
Right. I was just saying, what the heck?
I mean,
Argument invalid.
are you? I'm just saying. It just isn't. Can they both lose? Because I don't know. I mean, is this going to be a 3-0 game? I hope not. Jeez Louise. Marcus, you said Birmingham. I'm sorry.
Yes, I said Birmingham.
Okay.
Yep.
Chad, what about you, bro?
Yeah, Adam Wiseman and offensive coordinator Tanner Hendricks, which is our DC in London. Bounce back game for them. They're going to be extremely pissed off after that big loss against us. So I go Birmingham.
All right, Gunny, are you going to be the lone voice for Tacoma here or no?
No, Birmingham is the closest FFS minor league team to me, so Birmingham.
Gotcha. All right. Game 3, week 2, SFLm, Ottawa with their first game, Nate, traveling to Salt Lake City. Who you got?
Tommy, Utah, and Salt Lake.
Okay. Jeff?
I got Salt Lake as well.
Robert?
I got Salt Lake City.
Okay. I'm just looking at some stats here, but go ahead. Marcus?
I'll take Salt Lake as well, but you never know what you're going to get out of a team that hasn't played a game yet.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there's an advantage. I forget who had this game. I think it was Robert. That with Ottawa being able to have that extra week of scouting and nobody being able to scout them, but who knows for sure. Chad, what do you think about that and who you got?
Cavalry. Sorry, it was my only impression I could think of.
Are you sure you're not drunk again?
No, I'm not actually. Just high on life, baby.
Attaboy. Gunny, Ottawa at Salt Lake City. Who you got?
Well, I've been trying to pick which location is closest to me, but Ottawa and Salt Lake City, they're not real close. But I'm going with Ottawa.
You're going with Ottawa? Okay. All right, the final SFL minor league game of week 2. My San Jose flight at Memphis. Nate, who you got?
Memphis.
Jeff?
San Jose played much closer than people might realize last week, and I'm going to go ahead and give them benefit of the doubt, see if they can't pull this one out.
There you go. I mean, they only lost by a touchdown, right? I mean, it's not like they lost 25-0 or 41-3. Robert, what about you?
I think the pending San Jose slide continues. Memphis takes the win.
Memphis, okay. Marcus, who you got between San Jose and Memphis?
I'll take Memphis. They got the quarterback that lit up the Grizzlies last week, and they also have the running back that also is leading the league in rushing yards. I think those two factors are enough to give them a win.
Okay. Chad, where do you stand on this San Jose Memphis game?
Piggybacking off of what Marcus said, that quarterback and running back used to be Lexington Miners when they first were in the SFLm. So I am going to go Memphis and Rain Rhea.
There you go. All right, Gunny, you've got the last pick'em for the weekend and for the show. San Jose Flight 0-1 at Memphis 1-0 Friday night 9:20 p.m. Who you got?
Well, Graceland was good to me one year. I flew into Memphis, went and did a bet on $10, came home with 800. I'm gonna go with Memphis.
Maybe we need to do that again, Gunny. I'm thinking that maybe we can pay for that convention trip or something.
That would work.
That would work. All right, there you go, folks. You've got your quarterfinal SFL previews. You've got your SFL Minor League Week 2 previews. You've seen your Diva of the Week winner, the Lexington Miners. Congrats again, Chad. You heard Gunny's Pearls of Wisdom. And we just got the pick'ems for both the quarterfinals and Week 2 of the SFLm. Like I mentioned before, there is no After Dark tonight because I'm going to be hitting the road hopefully in the next 20 minutes or so. I will be driving to, where am I driving to? Jackson, Tennessee tonight. Spend the night. And then to Fort Smith, Arkansas to see my niece get married this weekend. So I will talk about whatever you want to talk about Tuesday night on After Dark. We can definitely talk about the two topics we mentioned earlier about the automation and the higher prices for quarterbacks and running backs and anything else you guys would like to throw in there. So in the meantime, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for everybody being in the chat, all the party people. I love you. Nate, Jeff, Robert, Marcus, Gunny, and Chad, thank you for being on. Appreciate everybody. Be safe this weekend. Have fun in the quarterfinals. And have fun tomorrow night, SFL Minor League Week 2. So I will see you guys Tuesday night when I get home. And we'll do it all again right here Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on Twitch when I see you at the Tees.